So I've had a lot of requests to bring out a Minotaur heavy army, which is really the reason why I started the beastman army to begin with, is because I just love the idea of Minotaurs. So yesterday I actually traveled south about an hour, hour and a half to play some guys I'd never played before, and I thought it'd be a good time to bring out the Minotaurs. I don't think it's a super competitive list. I think Minotaurs are very, very pricey and have a lot of serious weaknesses. So I thought it might be a good time to try it out. My first game's against a Demons of Chaos army, Nurgle-themed, and when you look at the models, I want you to know that this guy bought, assembled, and painted his entire army in 2 days, and I thought that was very, very impressive. So this is one of those games. I know some people watch a battle report and stop before it's over. For your sake, I'm telling you, just watch this entire battle. Do not stop it before the end. So alternative names for this battle are the awesomeness that is the Doombull and his friends, or possibly Paper, Scissors, Rock, or possibly My Kingdom for a 6. And all of those names will make sense to you by the end of it. So we got Battle for the Past starting. It's actually kind of my top, but let's say my left. He's got a Beast of Nurgle, the Great Unclean One, and this thing's nasty with Bale Sword and Noxious Vapors. He only has 4 attacks, but everybody in base contact with him is going to be always strike last. And with the miasma type spell that he has, if that spell goes off, you're also going to be 1 attack, weapon skill 1, strength 1, toughness 1. And any hits he does automatically wound and then do d6 wounds. So he is 10 wounds. He's just nasty, nasty. Let's see, 3 units of 19 Plague Bearers. Each one has a Herald. The one in the middle is his BSB, and he's got the Great Icon of Despair. So that's all enemy units in 12 inches have -2 to their leadership. Then here at the bottom, he's got 3 units of Nurglings. I thought it was a very interesting deployment. I purposely set up so these guys couldn't get behind my lines, and I thought it was interesting how I just put them all on one side like this. So starting at the way we're playing is my bottom, but I guess the way you're facing, I'll go left to right. I've got a Dragon Ogre proxying for a Razor Gore. Big unit of, I think, 49 Gore, full command, Tuskor Chariot. Then I've got my bigger unit of Minotaurs. It's 7 Minotaurs, extra hand weapon, a Musician, and a Standard Bearer. I did not take a champion, and I do have my Doombull in there. He's got my standard build, which is a 1-up rerollable armor save. Each save gives him an extra attack. He's got the Sword of Always Strikes First, and he has the other Trickster Shard so that opponents have to reward successful ward saves. And in this game, as in most of my games, I keep on forgetting about that item. And against demons, that's kind of a big deal, but regardless, you can see there's a Doombull, or there's a token in front of the Doombull. That means they're frenzied, and as a frenzy stack, more and more of those tokens will be out there. So there's a close-up. These guys I'm not finished painting most of them, but I figured they were far enough along I could put them on the table. So then I've got a unit of probably 47-ish Gore. In this Gore unit, in both Gore units, I took out the extra hand weapon because it was pointed out to me that I'm paying an extra point for 50 guys, and it just kind of adds up after a while. So they have full command, but other than that, they're naked. I've got my Wargore BSB. I've got my Great Brave Shaman there. The Great Brave Shaman and the BSB, I don't love the builds, but I gave them both a magic sword, just a cheap 5-point sword, so that if I face a damn Vampire Count's army with all this ethereal stuff, I'll have some way to deal with it. So that's why it is. I really, really don't like the build, but I don't have another solution for how to deal with ethereals. And I try to build an all-comers list. Anyway, then I've got 5 more Minotaurs. This one has Musician, and that's it. And then I've got another Tuskor Chariot. And behind my lines are my Harpies. I put him back there so he couldn't put his Nurglings behind me. So we go to Warriors. I'll just say we'll go to Nurgle turn 1. He moves up, as you can see. This is actually walk to the other side of the table because I don't want to give short shrift to the Great Unclean One. He's such a beautiful model. So he's marching up on the other side, as you can see. And we go to Beastman turn 1. So right off the bat, I made every charge that I attempted, which I was really happy with. I love getting my Minotaurs with my doombull into that unit of Nurglings because it's almost an auto win for me, and that's going to help me rev up my my frenzy attacks. When I declared the charge, though, I kind of assumed that if I beat that unit, I would overrun D6 like I have to do, and get in combat with the other unit, and get a couple easy frenzies in there, and it'll take me a turn to turn around and all that. But get these guys be nice and beefed up by the time I get in combat with his other plague bearers. My opponent told me that in the demon rule, though, you can never overrun. That if you beat them, if you kill them if they pop through demonic instability, you can't overrun, but you can reform. And so I told them I had to overrun. They said I couldn't overrun. So the way we played it was just that if I beat them through through demonic instability, that I just reformed. So anyway, there's a charge. Here at the bottom, I got a test score chariot. You see it has 2 wounds on it. That's because it failed its dangerous terrain test going over that fence and took 2 wounds. And my Razor Gore both got into it with the Nurglings down here. That one to me seems like another real easy one to win. Sorry for the bad picture. This is the very top. I took my test score chariot into his plague beast or whatever it's called, and then I took my smaller unit of Minotaurs into his great unclean one. I really don't think that I'm going to win this combat, or that I'm ultimately going to win it. But when I charged in, I was thinking, I've got impact hits, I've got all those attacks. I'm hoping to do some wounds on him so that he's much less scary. If I can get 4 or 5 wounds on this guy, if he ever gets in combat with my big unit of 50 gore, he's going to be much easier to handle. So, in hindsight, one thing I might have done differently is maybe swap these two, have the Minotaurs go after the Plague Beast and the Tuskor Chariot, try to put a wound or 2 on the Great Unclean one. But, who knows if they would even made those charges. So after combat's done, if you look at the bottom, total whiff over there. He did 1 wound on my Razor Gore. Between combat and combat res, I only did, I guess, 3 wounds on his Nurglings. And now I'm really not sure I can win that. I think the advantage might go to him down there. Up at the top, I destroyed his unit. I reformed. I really kind of wanted to be 4 wide, but I wanted to get out of line of sight of his Plague Bearer unit. The Nurgling unit inside, I'm not worried about them. If they charge in, my guys have enough attacks. I mean, they're base 3. They have an extra hand weapon as 4. They have 2 frenzies, so that's 6 attacks each. And then my Doombull, he's got, I guess, 7 attacks re-rolling to hit. So I really think I'm not worried about him charging into the flank. I think I'll pop him through wounds and combat res and still be able to charge on my turn, on my next turn. Yeah, there at the top, that did not go as planned at all. During the magic phase, I got the Curse of Honor here off on his general. So my Minotaurs charged in. My impact hits did nothing. He went first. Again, any hits auto wound, and any wound does d6 wounds. So I think he killed 2 or 3 of the Minotaurs just flat out before they even got to attack. I did no wounds on him. I'm strength 5, he's toughness 6. And he broke him through combat res and ran him down. And then the Chariot, with impact hits and everything, I think did no wounds against the Plague Beast. And took 1 wound on himself for his trouble. Now, the Great Unclean one did take a wound. That's because when he pursued me and ran me down, he had to take a dangerous terrain test and failed it. So he took a wound there. Overall, a real fail at the top of the board. So we go to Nurgle turn 2. He does not charge in his Nurglings into the side of my Minotaurs, which is a shame because it would have given me another frenzy. His Great Unclean one charged into my horde of 50 gore. And I just hate that I have my characters in there. Part of me is thinking, why did I not have my BSB hiding behind the house? I know I wanted my Great Brave Shaman to be able to cast a magic missile on his Great Unclean one. And I know his Great Unclean one had a spell, which was basically a magic missile, so I couldn't have him outside of a unit getting shot at. But there was a better solution than that. Now we're going to be locked in combat. I've got to try to find a way to hide my characters so they don't get killed. It's just, I hate when I do stupid stuff like that. Like I'm on autopilot. Anyway, the forest in the upper right turns out to be a venom thicket, so to move through there you take dangerous terrain tests, and you can see that unit of Plague Bearers lost, I think, 5 guys to dangerous terrain, which was just really, really unfortunate. Otherwise, he moves as you can see. Yeah, I mean, the Curse of Honor here is nice. He's -1 to hit. but I don't like that my spellcaster's right there. Yeah, there's the 5 deaths to dangerous terrain, which is kind of crazy. Overall, it looks like that. The thought of plague bears getting killed because of poison, I don't know. They're so infected anyway. You think it wouldn't bother them. So down here, and we go to beastman turn 2. So if you look at the very bottom, you can see that my chariot got killed, and my razor gore is all alone, sitting on 2 wounds. These guys have poison, so he's going to die very, very quickly. My doombull with the minotaurs, instead of charging in the face of the 1 plague bear unit, I wheeled around him and charged the flank of his battle standard bearers unit. And that's huge because his BSB has the great icon of despair. And so when his great unclean one charged in, he won combat. Basically, I got in a challenge with my champion, and I thought that if you could do d6 wounds for every wound, that only affected you if you had multiple wounds. My champion only has 1 wound possible, so I figured that, he only has 4 attacks. He might get maybe 3 wounds through the combat res. My opponent said that even if he only has 1 wound on him, doing d6 wounds per wound still counts. So he did a ton of wounds just by killing my champion. I was steadfast, but it was steadfast on -2, so it was a 6 rerollable, and luckily I made it. I was really scared. So I'm charging my doombull in, hoping I can kill the Herald of Nurgle that is his battle standard bearer. And I like my odds of doing it. Here's another angle. I don't like that I'm not wider, but if I was wider, I would not have even been able to make the charge. So during the magic phase, I got Curse of Honor here off again, but this time it was cast with Irresistible Force. Big template, strength 10 hit, so I killed a bunch of my guys. I put another wound on the Great Unclean One, and then my Great Brave Shaman got sucked into the warp. So I don't love it. I think he was going to get killed anyway. All his Great Unclean One had to do was allocate 1 attack on him. If he hits, it'll auto wound, do d6 wounds. I think my guy was going to be dead, which is just, I was just so mad for having him in the unit. Regardless of that, when we go to combat, he's issuing challenges. I'm refusing with my battle standard bearer. So these guys are leadership 7, unless the doombull's within 12. So then they would be 8, and it's rerollable. That's if he wins. But I have a fair amount of static combat res, 3 ranks at a standard, actually 2 standards. So I'm starting at 5, and now that he can only kill puds, he only has 4 attacks. He can only get up to 4 combat res. So I'm winning combat as of this moment. And that's actually the easiest way to take wounds off this guy. So we go over here. We get in a challenge. Now, you see that green marker at the back of the Plague Bearers? That means he got the Miasma spell off. So everybody in base-to-base contact with the Herald has 1 attack, weapon skill 1, strength 1, toughness 1. So it only affects 1 Minotaur, but it affects my Doombull. We're in a challenge. But the thing is, I still get all my frenzy attacks. So I at least have a few attacks. I ended up actually doing 4 wounds on the guy, and he made all 4 of his saves. So I was really hoping he would get odds and make 2, lose 2, die. They would lose their 4-up regen, it'd go to a 5-up ward, and then they'd have to be re-rolling their ward saves because of my Trickster Shard, and just life would be better. As it is, it went like you can see it. Afterwards, I reformed to 1, get my guys so that he couldn't charge me, and just to get more attacks up there. Over here, this was nice. Again, I don't know how many wounds he did. I could probably figure it out, but he did like maybe 1 wound. I had a lot of combat res on him, and so he went from 2 wounds to 6 wounds just because of his instability. So that was very, very nice. I am very hopeful now I might be able to pop this Unclean One just through sheer combat res. Now in combat, everybody in base-to-base contact with him is always strike last, and he's often getting that Miasma spell off, so those guys can't do much to him. But basically, I have a lot of attacks, usually hitting on 4s or 5s, and I need a 6 to wound. And that's the thing is, if I can just get a 6 every now and then, it makes everything else so much easier. It's an extra combat res. It whittles them down. I swear I can't roll a 6. To save my life, I can't roll a 6. Anyway, we go to his turn 3. He reforms his Plague Bearers on the right-hand side so that next turn he can charge my Minotaurs. And that's kind of scary. I know I'm going to win these combats, but I need to win them very quickly. I'd love to win it and be able to charge into his other unit of Plague Bearers and get away from this bottommost unit. You can see on my turn I took the Harpies and parked them in front of his Plague his topmost unit of plague bearers, so they couldn't charge into my battle standard bearers unit. So he charged them. He did bring his plague beast into my horde of gore, so that's going to help his cause out a little bit. Yeah, overall it looks like that. And I still have the Curse of Honor here off. That's kind of helping me a little bit with this Great Unclean One. So we go into this attack. This is great. My doombull has 8 attacks. He actually, I have to reduce him by 4 because of the miasma spell that's off. So he only has 1 base attack, but I still get 3 extra. So he has 4 attacks total. The Minotaurs, I have 37 attacks. I do lose, I say 2 here. Actually, it's -3 because 1 guy's in base-to-base contact with his Herald. That's still a ton of attacks. Just an absolute ton of attacks. And after combat, it looks like that. So you have 4 frenzy markers. He didn't completely pop. And in all honesty, I don't remember. I don't think I killed the battle standard bearer. I think we're still locked in that challenge, which is just really frustrating. Regardless, this time I think, by the looks of it, that the miasma spell went away and he wasn't able to get it on this unit. And I think that's why we were able to do better there. Regardless, that's how it stands. His BSB has 1 wound on him. He only has maybe 4 guys left in the unit. That was his turn, so on my turn I should be able to chop him up. But the problem is I've got plague bearers behind me and plague bearers in front of me. And I'm going to have a ton of attacks, but that's a lot. And there's really nothing I can do to avoid getting rear charged. So we go over here. This time you can see he got the miasma spell off on his Great Unclean One. So they win combat by a lot. You can see I'm missing a lot more models. I'm steadfast, and his standard bearer is now more than 12 inches away because they reformed to face me. So at least it was on a 7 rerollable. So luckily I passed that. Go to Beastman turn 3. I would have loved to have charged my gore into this bottommost plague bearer unit, but it was too easy to fail that charge. So I just marched him up. My harpies rally. Otherwise, there's really not a whole lot I can do movement-wise. I easily win that combat, and this is a tough decision, but this is what I did and why I did it. I killed him outright so I could reform, and I know it's going to be his turn next. I really want that topmost unit to not charge my battle standard bearers unit, because if they do, it's going to spell the end of my BSB and one of my horde of gore. So I turned my back on them, hoping that they would charge the rear of my Minotaur unit. If they do, I'm going to have a lot of attacks, and I really think I have decent odds of winning that combat, even though he has a rear charge. So I just turn my back on him. So I'm kind of hoping he charges this bottommost unit into my gore, and he'll get held up. I hope he charges the topmost unit into the rear of my Minotaurs, and I hope to be able to chop him up, and then we'll go from there. So that's just a close-up picture of all the tokens. I've got 2 wounds on 1 Minotaur. Otherwise, I haven't lost a Minotaur yet. And they have 5 frenzied. These guys are revved up. They're awesome. And the doombull is just, I mean, he's at what, base 5 plus 5, so he's at 10 attacks just by himself. Rerolling to hit, strength 6. Yeah. So over here you can see he did a ton of wounds on me, and I actually did okay on him. You can see I put 3 wounds on the Plague Beast, and we did 1 wound on the Great Unclean One. So he won combat. I was still steadfast. Really, it was his Thunder Stomp that just really helped. He rolled a 6 for it, and I think he got 6 of them. So I don't like that this unit down here is dying so quickly. But he's on 7 wounds on his Great Unclean One. Again, I've got a lot of attacks going at him. He's not that hard to hit. It's just I need a 6 to wound him, and I just need to roll more 6s. I need a 6 to wound this Plague Beast, and I did 3 of them, so that was amazing. So we go to Nurgle turn 4, and he did what he hoped he would do. He charged the hell out of my Gore unit at the bottom. The Plague Bearers in the front, 2 units of Nurglings in the side. I think he's going to win that. I'll be steadfast, and steadfast 8, maybe with a reroll. I think I do have the reroll there. I just need him to stick around just for a turn or 2. He charged the rear of my Minotaur unit. And just so you know what that looks like, yeah, Doombull has 10 attacks. Only my back rank of Minotaurs can attack, but they still have 27 attacks. I mean, it's so a total of 37 attacks, hitting on threes, 10 of them will get rerolls, and wounding on twos. And then he gets a 4-up until I kill his herald. And I'm pretty sure in a challenge my doombull will chop through his herald pretty quickly. So when combat was done, it looks like this. He won the combat below. I expected him to, but I failed my 8 rerollable. So they fled, and he didn't catch me. So because he didn't catch me, I'm not too worried about it. I'll rally on an 8. Hopefully I can make that. If I don't, I probably won't go off the board. I'll have another turn to rally on an 8. So I'm okay there. Despite getting rear charged, my Minotaurs chewed up the Plague Bear. I mean, tore them to pieces. They now have 6 frenzy markers. Those guys, I mean, I'm surprised they're not glowing. I can hear them just bellowing and chanting on the battlefield, just tearing his units apart. If you look at the top, that one was brutal. His Great Unclean was just starting to do a lot of wounds on me. We were able to kill the Plague Beast, and I think we did one more wound on his Great Unclean one. So he's sitting on 8 wounds. But the problem is my unit is there's just not much left there. Yeah, here's another angle of my big horde who failed their steadfast running away. And there's that. Yeah, 8 wounds. He has 2 wounds left. Oh my gosh, 2 wounds. Just give me some 6s, please, for the love of Pete. And yeah, there's that. Six frenzy markers. That unit is getting tough. So to beastman turn 4, charge him in the rear with my Minotaurs. And I rally my gore. So he's really down to his Great Unclean one, and I'm pretty confident I'm gonna tear up this unit of Plague Bearers. So he's got a couple Nurgling units. I think, the game is never in the bag, but very, very happy with how this is going. And just so 11 attacks from the doombull. Those are rerolling to hit, strength 6, 39 attacks. I'm almost embarrassed when it gets to the fighting part, and I've got to say, give me 5 minutes. I've got to pull out 39 dice. Hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. Until his herald's dead, he is getting a 4-up, and then he gets a 5-up, but that's just a ton. So afterwards, it looks like that. Again, the rule is, apparently the demonic instability rule is I cannot overrun. So I just got to sit there, which is, yeah, whatever. But I've got 7 frenzy markers. These guys, I don't even know what to say. So over here, he kills a few more of my guys. I have 1 rank left. I'm steadfast. He has 9 wounds. Oh, God, he's got 9. 1 wound left on this guy. Will you please roll a damn 6? Now, the problem here is he's issuing a challenge every turn. He says this time I can't refuse with my battle standard bearer because there's no rank I can go back to hide. I'm not sure about that rule. I'll probably research it just out of curiosity because I can hide. I can get out of combat. I just can't go to another rank to hide. So that's one rule that came up. I might research it. But so this time he's going to issue a challenge. If I have to accept, I have to accept with my battle standard bearer. I can't stand against him. I mean, anything. Let's say he only hits twice. They hit. They auto wound. It'll be strength 6, and so my 2-up armor save is going to a 5-up armor save, and then any wounds that go through do d6 wounds. I only have 2 wounds, so it's an auto win for him. Then I know I won't be steadfast, and then I'll break. So we go to his turn. He charges both Nurglings into my my horde of gore, or I guess they're not a horde, but my big bus of gore. I think he's thinking that he'll do enough wounds to win combat, and I'll be leadership 7, so I'll be steadfast on a 7. Pretty easy to fail that, so it's really not a bad plan. The problem is he did very few wounds, and my guys went to town. So I actually won combat, and gonna mop up points there. He killed my battle standard bearer. My gore got away. Now this is turn 5, so I've got 2 turns. I need Snake Eyes to rally these guys. I think they're too close to the board edge to hope that they won't run off by the end of the game. So that's 250 points he's probably going to get. His Great Unclean one just kind of faces my Minotaurs like that. On my turn, I just go ahead and charge in, make short work of these guys. Now, Doombulls at 12 attacks, Minotaurs in this combat are at 42 attacks. Yeah, it was, I guess it was fun. I thought it was fun. So after combat, and this was just really, really funny because when I beat them, I just reformed. If this Great Unclean One charges into my bus of gore, I think I'm going to win combat. If not, I just need one wound and that guy's dead. You saw how many attacks I have my Minotaurs. I just turn them so he doesn't get a flank charge, and these guys are just bellowing like, "Come on, you Great Unclean One, bring it on! You're sitting on one wound." And so he does. So one, he needed, I think, an 8 to make the charge. This is this great festering blob of nastiness sitting on one wound, charging the nastiest unit I've ever seen in this game. Doombull has 13 attacks. Minotaurs have 39 attacks. But it doesn't work out that way because he issues a challenge. If I accept with my Doombull, I'll go last. He gets to go first with 4 attacks. During the magic phase, he rolled Snake Eyes, and then he channeled 1. So he has 3 dice to my 1 die, so he easily gets Miasma off. So my Doombull is Weapon Skill 1, Toughness 1, and the Great Unclean One has a Flail, and so he's Strength 8 the first round of combat. So he gets 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. They auto-wound. They'll go right past my armor, and each one does d6 wounds. So there's no way. I can't accept with my Doombull. There's no way. I will get killed. And he'll have a million combat res. So I refuse the challenge, which is just funny. Doombull goes to the back rank. He kills 2 Minotaurs outright. I only have 2 Minotaurs left, and because they're in base-to-base contact with that miasma, they only have 1 attack. But they do get to keep all of their frenzy attacks. So that's a total with only 2 guys of 18, hitting on 5s, wounding on 6s because of the damn miasma spell. I need 1 6. 18 attacks, I should hit 6, and I should get 1, and then if I get odds, then I just need to hope that he doesn't make his ward save. And it doesn't happen. So he wins combat by a lot. I'm steadfast, and I fail the steadfast, break, and he runs me down. And he pulls victory. He has, not only does he have only 1 model on the table, he has 1 wound on the table. But I've got nothing. I've got a unit of gore at 250 points. I've got my Harpies at 55 points. I'm at 300. He's at 585. He wins by 285 points. It's a paper, scissors, rock. The Great Unclean One against multi-wound models is freaking insane amazing. Minotaurs versus single wound models are freaking amazing. What I should have done when I could have reformed after beating the Nurglings, had I thought through the nastiness that is the Great Unclean One, I would have reformed in a straight line behind that house so he couldn't charge me. There's no way I would let that happen. Oh, I'm still in shock that he pulled out the victory. What you see on the table, those 2 units, his 1 wound Great Unclean One, my unit of gore, and again, there's a unit of Harpies with only 2 Harpies left. Nothing else of both armies. Everything's been destroyed. An amazing, amazing last-minute turnaround by the Great Unclean One. If this was a tournament, I think I would have been ticked. As it was, that was great. It was a great ending to a very fun game. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.